guys, welcome back to the build of my 51 Fleetline Chevy Fastback. We're going to build this thing into a drag and drive car. We've done this all in-house with a bunch of mates. We're building a big block blown 540 Chevy for it. It's going to be punching out about 1500 horsepower, turbo 400 with a trans brake, big beefy 9-inch rear end. As I said earlier, it's going to predominantly be a drag and drive car. We're going to test the car here in the UK, then head stateside and see if we can hurt some feelings. Right guys, so today's been a very productive day. We've finally got the converter ordered and it should be in the post in the next couple of days. As you all know, choosing a converter for your car can be a make or break scenario. We went back and forwards on this thing for literally months trying to work out who's going to make it and what our best options are, and kind of value for money as well. It kind of seems like once you get to the power level that we're at, especially with a built box and a trans brake, you can't just run an off-the-shelf converter. I mean, you can, but I kind of feel like we'll be leaving a bit of power or meat on the table, which is something which we don't want to do. Jim and I have spoken about this day after day. We kind of just got to the conclusion where we thought, can't skimp out here. We've done the motor, we've done the box. Converter's going to make or break this thing. So we ended up going with a converter from a company called Cohen. Very good rep and very, very good price. You could spend 6 or 8 grand on getting a custom converter made, like a bolt together alley converter. I just don't think we needed to go that far. I really didn't want to spend that sort of money on a converter when there's some amazing companies out there. We've gone for a welded converter. It's got a billet front cover on it. It's got a billet stator in it, and the stall speed's going to be about 6,000 RPM, which is 1,500 to 1,000 RPM higher than what I expected to be. We've gone for something called a Super Sprag, one of their racing converters, but they're building it also keeping in mind it's going to be a drag and drive car. So from what I understand is a lot of people run Spragless converters with a mechanical diode. It's killer for racing, but it'll be a bit of a pig on the street. I didn't mind that. I'm kind of used to that. I said, look, I'm happy for it to be a bit of a pig on the street, but I kind of just want to squeeze as much power out of this thing as we can and run the numbers that we're kind of hoping to, if not better. But he sort of said to me, look, if it's predominantly a drag and drive car, I would suggest a Super Sprag. It'll just make it that little bit easier and more comfortable to drive on the street. So that's what we've done. So 2 days to make it, 2 or 3 days in the post, we're going to have this thing here. Today is the day we're finally going to get this gearbox put in the car for the last time. The converter's turned up, flex plate's turned up, we've got all the hardware. Let's get it in the car and crack on. The other thing that slowed us up was the flex plate. So we're running a big block Chevy crankshaft, which is usually a 6-bolt pattern. It's got a Hemi pattern on the back, which is an 8-bolt crank pattern, which is what people did back in the day for strength. So trying to find a company that would make a flex plate with a Hemi pattern and a 168 tooth ring gear for a big block Chevy was almost a nightmare. Phoned up Roger, who built the box. He did a little bit of homework, and ATI do a really nice super flex plate, cheap, $289 from Summit. Really, really productive. I kind of feel like those two things were just killing me. I just didn't know which way to go, but now we do. All we've got to do is throw a prop shaft in this thing. Yeah, just thought I'd give you a little bit of an update as to where we are with the car. Kind of feels like it's taken on forever, but it's all these last little bits and pieces that just seem to take the most amount of time. And the research and homework that goes into this thing is just incredible sometimes. You tend to lose a bit of sleep over it, but I kind of feel like we've got it right. I think we've got this thing right from front to back in the drivetrain, and I think this thing is going to be an absolute animal once we finally get to fire this thing up and drive it. We do have a memorial car show on the 14th of July, which we're pushing for. It's for a friend of ours. His old man passed away 18 months ago. and it's in memory of him. So we really want to make that meet, so that gives us 3 weeks. Check out these things, man. What an absolute wow. As you can see, we've got the flex plate installed, all the bolts Loctited, torqued up. Converter sitting on the box, waiting to go in the car, just waiting on one of the boys to come down to give me a hand, lift it on the jack, chuck it in the car. Still trying to fight all these little niggly bits and pieces that need doing. Had to pull the pipes off, obviously, to change the gaskets. Just going to clean the cylinder heads, try and get these pipes buttoned up. That's one less thing, you know, that we've got to tick off the list. Once this box is back in the car, that's a massive, you know, move forward. All we've got to do after that is throw a starter motor in the car. Prop shaft's being made as we speak. So we could potentially fire this thing up in the next couple of days, provided I get that starter motor in, you know, throw a couple of belts on the, or a belt on the front of the water pump. But yeah, wish me luck with these pipes. Been an absolute pig of a job. Nice and tight, but she's coming together, man. Ain't much to do. As you can see, the beauty about these little gaskets is they got hooks right on the end. So you can start your first and last bolt, saves you juggling the manifold and the, you know, the gasket at the same time. So these 2 little hooks here, straight over, straight over the front and rear bolt, makes life so much easier. So you get those 2 started and then make sure they will just drop in nice and easy. Right, here we go. What an absolute nightmare these pipes were to do. I ended up doing them from underneath. The ARP bolts that were supplied ended up being a little too short. A friend of mine actually laser cut these header plates a little bit thicker than usual. The reason for that is because the ones supplied, they weren't perfectly port matched. So he drew them up on CAD, squared them all up, made them absolutely perfect. But obviously I had to pull all these things out again and change all these for some cap screws because they were an absolute nightmare to get in here and get them all on. Just give you a little update as well. Here's the old shovel head that I haven't really touched in a couple of months. Still trying to mock everything up. Got it almost ready for paint, to be fair. It's almost ready to be torn apart. Got a load of fabrication done, but obviously the drag car is the most important project on the list at the moment. While I've been waiting on bits and pieces, I've been, you know, tinkering with this every so often. She's nearly there, nearly ready to pull apart. Just need to, you know, we're going to change the front wheel out for a 21-inch front wheel. Not happy with the 16 on the front, but pretty damn happy with the ride height on this thing. It sits absolutely sick. Still not sure what colour we're going to paint it. We've been playing around with a couple of colours. Yeah, there's the little shovel head update. If any of you are wondering why I haven't finished it, there she is upstairs. Fingers crossed we can get this thing fired up in this video. I'm not promising anything, but we're just waiting on a starter and a radiator, but I'm sure we can kick it in the guts without the rad. So yeah, let's crack on. Nice and easy. Amazing what a transmission jack does, eh? That literally fell in. So we're just going to try and turn the motor over now, get the converter bolts in. I'm just going to run a little spacer, try and get that 1/8 inch clearance between the converter and the flex plate. Don't want to pull the converter too far forward and, you know, want as much engagement on the pump gears as we can. But yeah, I've got some ARP hardware here, so kind of feel like the gap's about 5 mil. So Nice little high tensile washer in there or spacer in there, and we should be bang on about 1/8 of an inch, which is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, one less thing to do. Box is finally in, so let's crack on. We're going to get the starter motor in the car. Got the oil pressure gauge in, which we're waiting on some fittings for. We're going to throw some fuel in this thing and we're going to fire it up. So stay tuned. So here she is, guys. This big Power Master bad boy here is an absolute Trojan. This is a 3.4 horsepower high torque mini starter. This is the biggest one I could find. This is capable of turning over engines with a compression ratio of 18:1. And like I said, 3.4 horsepower. The one we had in the car initially was 1.9. So this thing should have no problems turning that big motor over in that blower. So let's get it in the car and wire it up and see if we can kick it in the guts. Listen to that thing. Jesus Christ, man. I want to run it for longer. I want to give it a couple of blips. So there we have it, guys. One very, very happy boy here. Finally, after all this time, got the car fired up. Just sounds absolutely incredible. Obviously, it's just through straight pipes, then we had to take the side pipes off to get it on the lift. But flawless. Had a few little fuel leaks last night when we fired it up. A little oil leak weeping from the oil filter. Got those little problems sorted. Now it just, fuel pressure's perfect. No leaks whatsoever. It's absolutely incredible. Just lost for words, to be fair. Finally in the car, finally running. All we're waiting on now really is a prop shaft. And then we can put this thing down and take it for a run around the block. But absolutely ecstatic. Really, really, really happy. I don't know what else to say. It's been a long time coming. She's in, she's running. Next video, we're going to be driving this thing down the road. So as always, guys, thanks again for all the support. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It means the world to us. And we'll catch you on the next one.